Ben. Thanks for getting me into Williams Formula One Esports. This is exciting to be here.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you here.
So do you think, I've raced for 20 years, so, might be a bit long in the tooth for the track stuff. I don't know. Do you think I can still cut it in esports?
I think it's something we're going to have to find out over the course of the day, but I think there's definitely transferable skills, and I'm excited to see, how you fare in the sim.
I hope that there are. I've noticed, as the realism in the sims gets better, my real-world experience becomes more relevant, and I do faster times in the sim, but then get into a room full of these guys competing in the student league, and it's extremely competitive.
Yeah, 100%. I think in esports and in the sim racing side, in comparison to real world, obviously track time's limited, whereas for these guys, it could be in their bedroom or it's in their colleges. It's there all the time. You can spend multiple hours training, so I think those gaps get smaller and smaller because they're spending so much time.
How much correlation is there between, you've got sim racing team, professional team, and the race drivers in the Formula One team who are using sims to develop the race car? So the platforms are getting closer and closer, aren't they?
Yeah, 100%. I think F1 as a game probably isn't, it's not there. They're not trying to close the gap as much because I think it's exciting that they can offer something different. So if you watch the F1 Sim Racing Championship, you'll see that if someone picks up a penalty, that could drop them from first to last because the field's so tight. Whereas iRacing, ACC, those kind of platforms, the simulator platforms, are getting so close. So without giving away any trade secrets, most F1 teams use a simulator platform, a custom version, a pro version, as the base for their deal simulator for the F1 drivers to train in.
I guess one of the problems you've got is that there's an infinite amount of time you can spend on the sim. With real racing, you've got budgets, controls, caps, you burn tyres, fuel, but actually for you want to get into esports, you could be 24/7.
It's a real more of a mental burnout than a physical burnout. Whereas in football, similar to traditional motorsport, you can only spend, in football you could probably train maximum twice a day, but you couldn't do that every day because your body wouldn't allow you to.
Yeah.
In motorsport, you couldn't afford to do that every single day. And as you say, there's the budget caps, etc. So for us, it is a real challenge. I've worked with drivers that have put full days into it. I've shared a grid with drivers in other teams that have kind of boasted about spending 16 hours in the sim, which for me is a sorry state of affairs because people need to be protecting these young people, and that's something that we're doing a lot at Williams, and it's purposeful practice. Yes, you've got a sim in your room, but actually there's such a thing as overtraining.
Am I right in thinking you have a psychologist involved?
We do indeed,
analysing, yeah. Well, how do you assess people coming in psychologically? Do you sort of take a look at them?
My background's psychology, so it was something I was really keen to bring in. But the idea behind it is, again, it's being proactive and not so much trying to fix problems or to, as you're referring to there, almost like psychoanalyze. It's more around how do we prepare, how do we build resilience. We know as Williams what we're looking for in a driver.
But it's secret. So can you give us a little bit of an insight of kind of stuff you're looking for so that anyone watching this that wants to go and race for you has some idea what they should aspire to?
Yeah, of course. So we're looking at accountability, we're looking at resilience, innovation, teamwork and excellence, and that's striving for excellence, which obviously are just terms, and without going into too much depth, doesn't mean different things to different people, but that's the framework it's built around. And then we'll set up a test that enables an individual to showcase those skills. So that would be in the sim, and in that session I'll have a performance engineer, a sim engineer and myself, and usually we would also have our test driver as well, so the F1 test driver would be present. If he's not present, he would have done the reference laps. Obviously we're fortunate to work in a sport where you have the stopwatch, and we can't ignore that because most sports don't have something as objective as that, but it's not just based on that, particularly if we're bringing someone in their teenage years. We want to also then start looking at those indicators for future success.
How much have you seen from people who've gone through this program or in it who are able to step towards F1?
Yeah, I think we're seeing more and more, not necessarily just at Williams, but across the grid. We're not quite there yet to see someone go from sim racing to F1, but there's people that are just about to go into F1 or have just gone into F1 that sim racing has been a big part of their journey. You've got the likes of Luke Browning, who's with us now, who sim races, and it's been a massive part of his career, and he's on the periphery of F1 in F2. Lando and Max have both obviously publicly done it, and Max is probably the biggest name in sim racing in terms of a real world driver that also competes at the pinnacle of sim racing as well. We have this idea that we started with 2 years ago where you could take a sim racer and turn them into a real world driver, because I personally believe there's so many transferable skills. Obviously, you have to take into the psychological element and the physical element, but that's all part of our program here.
The bit I find difficult when I'm doing it is not crashing. So basically taking it seriously, which is really embarrassing to admit that. Yeah. But from going from real, obviously you've got all these, this wonderful kaleidoscope of life throwing at you at high speed, and your body just reacts to it. You get the adrenaline, and then I've been doing some sim stuff for the race teams as well. And I don't think I doze off, but just sometimes some correlation isn't there. I don't feel something when you fire it off, and I find you get really much more impatient with it than I should, for instance. So there's probably people in my generation that would say that the same. This new generation coming through, they do take it seriously. And the more I've got into it, and you start, once you get a bit competitive, the adrenaline's there immediately. Even though you're sitting in a room, a bank of computers, get the same heart rate goes up, everything gets in tune with what you're doing.
The competitive side of sim racing is very different to the practicing or doing it for a development reason for a team. The drivers I've worked with that said as sim racers going into real world, and have done vice versa, they actually tend to find competitive sim racing, it makes them more nervous than racing, which blew my mind initially, and now I'm starting to understand it a bit more. And it's because the level is so high. I think Max, I know he said it, I can't remember exactly when, I think it was in the last year, publicly said it's harder to win an iRacing special event than it is to win an F1 Grand Prix. Perhaps from his perspective, I mean, for me, it's harder for me to win an F1 Grand Prix than it would be to win a special event, but I know what he means. Yeah, everyone's got your same or similar cars depending on what game you're playing on, and everyone's put so many hours in, and everyone's fine-tuned everything. They know everything there is to know about that game or that simulator. I think what you're describing as well isn't just generational, it's around actually looking at the way in which you use the sim. Mm-hmm. So one thing I would say is, looking at the sim in front of me now, know the pros. There's loads of pros to using that piece of equipment. There are also negatives, and there are also things, I say negatives, there's differences, and you have to be fully aware and on board with what those differences are, and know what you want to get out of the session in order to be able to get everything out from it.
So these guys are going to be going at it. They've got this, obviously it's a national competition, the Student League, which you guys have set up. It's the only one at the moment, isn't it, that's doing that outreach. And potentially there's a pathway, isn't there, not just from the driving, but you've got people working in media, business, all kinds of stuff that have come through from unis through to work at Williams.
Someone from these leagues can become a talent identification pool for us. One from a driving side, but equally, from getting early career opportunities with Williams, and even if it's not with Williams, just opportunities in the industry that we've opened their eyes to.
How close would I have to get to the pole time in this race for you to take me into your esports program? Come on, give me a shot.
I'd need to see you beating the pole time.
I need to beat the pole time. Let's go. All right. Give me 2 tips, and I'm going to go and put it into practice.
Okay, so 2 tips. I think the first thing is like I said to you a minute ago.
Drive in your socks. I saw that earlier.
Take your shoes off.
Important.
Yeah, because you don't. The one limitation is you don't have as much feeling. You've got force feedback in the wheels. You've also got it in the pedals.
Right.
So therefore, you need to, in my opinion, either be in racing boots or in socks.
Done.
So, unfortunately, as fashionable as they are, they're probably not going to cut it in the sim.
All right.
And then I'd say the other thing for me would be that whole thing of finding a way to just get yourself dialed in, taking it seriously. I'd probably do a couple of laps, just get used to the way that the wheel's feeling.
Yeah.
Because the feedback's going to be different for you. So there is feedback in it. If you hit a curb, you'll know about it. If the rear end's coming out, you'll know about it, but it might be slightly different to what you're used to, because you won't be feeling it through your body, you'll be feeling it through the wheel. But I don't want to give you too many tips, because I've got high hopes for you, actually.
Well, listen, I'll shake on that. That's a contract. You all saw that. So if I beat that time, I'm coming to work here.
I think you've twisted my words slightly, but definitely you've got to beat the pole time.
I'm in. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's been an amazing experience learning about what you do at Williams with esports, and I've heard a lot of chat. Everybody's heard about the potential to go from esports into the Formula One team, but you've actually done this yourself. You've come from university, haven't you, and gone in?
Yeah, a little bit, you could say. So I was in the first sort of alumni that went through Chichester University for their esports degree. For this role, it was broadcast producer was the title of the role, and then I came here for an interview, met the team, Stephen the director, and from then on I did a year and a half of broadcast production, sort of growing the Twitch channel and looking at other sort of gaming explorations that we could venture into, because at that time it was sort of just the sim racing team competitively, and that was it.
So there's not many unis that do esports,
No.
Chichester being one. So you can, So what do you get to do? But I like playing Call of Duty as well, just not at your level.
I think the best way I describe it to people is imagine all of the sports specialised courses. You know, you've got sports coaching, sports media, sports psychology, all those sort of things, put into one course that tailors to the esports industry. And I think, yeah, that's what you've got. Obviously, it's changed a lot from when I first went, but they're just growing and making more things accessible. And yeah, that's pretty much the course.
Mega. But here you are. You're at Williams F1 team.
Yeah, I have to touch, like, you know.
You're wearing the shirt, man.
Yeah.
You're standing in front of glory and heritage. It's incredible. You know, you've been in the saddle doing the driving.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're running the broadcast team. It's a lot of responsibility as well.
Yeah, responsibility definitely, and learning. I think learning how to deal with that and the pressure, because it was such a big brand, such a big name, such a feat and investment that was put into us and the broadcast team. So, but I think I've learned valuable lessons that will, you know, carry with me through the rest of my career. I couldn't have wished for a better start to my career, and I wouldn't have wanted to start it anywhere else. And I think Chichester kickstarted that for me.
So there's a lot of parallels between the esports program and the racing.
Mm-hmm.
So I've met Ben, the performance coach.
Yeah.
He thinks I've got a chance.
Oh yeah.
What do you reckon? I'm going to go out and see if I can beat the pole time from Abu Dhabi. It's a track I don't know.
I think you'll be able to do it. There's a couple of like knacks you got to get with. You know, you won't have the G-force, so you got to learn to feel the twitches of the car more subtly in the force feedback in the wheel.
I'm happy to review the data afterwards to see how much margin I've put on the other drivers.
Yeah.
But I can review that later. Maybe we'll just get a printout because I'm a bit old school.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, pencil and rubber.
Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
All right, good luck. Thank you. I'll see you on the rig.
Are those gloves or socks? Oh, they're cool, aren't they?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Why not? I didn't know you'd use that in a sim. Thank you. Okay, let's do this.
Red lights go when you're off.
Oh, jeez. Could you? Sorry, because I don't know this place.
That's fine.
And the car is already driving itself. What have we got coming up?
We've got a quick left-hand turn, 3 downshifts. Left hand and you're flat out.
It's not much torque, is there?
No.
What's this flat?
Yep, flat. Keep it flat.
Okay, just warm my tyres, sensible.
Yeah, then we're going up to a hairpin. This is 4 downshifts, hard left, at the 50 board.
Thank you, Brent. This is good. Great co-pilot. I need you with me all the time. It's like the voice of Obi-Wan.
Hello there.
Okay,
Coming
what's
up at the
next?
end of this, we've got a sort of chicane coming up. It'll be 6 downshifts at probably the 100 metre, I'd say.
Oh God, I keep changing the view. Do you reckon that happens for real?
Well, you got to look around for the cars behind you and stuff, so keep it pinned down, full speed.
Through
And
here?
I'll brake now.
Oh, I remember this from watching them. What's going on now?
Left-hander,
Flat?
down, not down. And that's start-finish line.
Oh, here again.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a 129.3.
All right, that's not too bad. I don't know why I've got a black flag.
Track limits.
Can we argue that?
The stewards are not usually very lenient. Let's go.
Okay. Okay, now, just if you don't mind, what are we happen again?
Yep.
Left that a bit late, didn't we?
Maybe a little bit.
Can I say we when there's a mistake? I'll probably try and blame you.
Oh yeah.
This place is so difficult to see anything. You've just got no vision through the corner, have you?
No. Flat out right-hander, coming up to the hairpin. 4 gear drops at the 50. And brake a hell of a lot later than that.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's going to be the chicane, 100 metres, 6 downshifts. You missed a downshift. Keep it flat out. The second you hit this corner, brake. Yeah, that's a nice line actually.
That's the corner I keep messing up. It's the last
Yeah.
one. So that's third gear.
I reckon 3rd gear you can do it. To go fast, I'd say 4th, but I think it's just all about the braking zone.
I'm trying the Jensen button way. Brake early, slow it down, get a good exit.
Well, it's a reason Jensen Button doesn't race in modern F1.
Oof. Oh. I'll do that again. Oh no, he's in the wall. Scheiße.
Hey, you made some time up.
Alright, so there's 2 corners I seem to have a problem memorising. It's that one and the
chicane.
fast corner.
And nice wide line in there, you can carry so much speed out of this corner. 6 downshifts. One more. There you go. That's fast out. There you go, you've made up half a second.
That's my bogey corner.
Yeah, you've even overtaken your personal best. Look at that.
Starting to lose my fronts.
I don't think the tyre wear goes off in this game mode.
It doesn't go off.
No.
So I just made that up completely.
Yeah, a little bit.
27.
Yeah.
We're getting closer.
And look, you've got to take 3 seconds and 2 tenths off. Wow. That was a really nice switch. Loads of times off.
Oh, come on. Who's at the brake bars on this thing? Oh, come on. Oh, you buffoon.
I mean, you're only 4 seconds off the pace. You probably have massive bald spots in your tyres. But you did take 3 tenths off. So
Oh, come on, the flags.
you're doing so well.
It's given me, come on, it's given me a black flag for using that curb. That's bull. I had 2 wheels on the track.
You had 2 wheels on the curb.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that, is there? Anyway, we better record our own times because I think the system's been rigged. I'm pretty sure.
I think so.
Williams are they're just trying to shut me out. They couldn't handle the pace. They don't want another Mansell on their hands. Come on, talk to me straight. How close? To the pole time.
Like 2.5 seconds.
2.5 seconds.
2.5 seconds.
I'm not sure I've got enough time for this.
I don't think so.
What time do they close? Okay, all right. Look, this is going to take forever. Is there something else I could do that maybe would, get me noticed?
You said you drove before.
Yeah, 20 years of racing. Yeah, never heard of me.
Maybe the
Stig, racing
well,
driver.
I thought your reactions would be up to it. Maybe the Batak might be helpful.
Let's try the Batak.
Let's go for it.
Yeah, whatever that is. Let's go and try that. All right, it's finally. I might have found something I'm good at. Batak reaction test. What'd you get?
43.
Yes! Lost Stig.
Nice. That's a
Some
good one
say
to
it.
have on our leaderboard.
It's Ben Collins, really.
No, I'm leaving it like that.
I'm not allowed to call myself that anymore. I get told off.
Oh, well, you actually get
So I'm in front of someone, but I'm in behind. Who are these guys?
So, this guy who's top of the leaderboard used to drive an F4,
Yeah.
but his technique was very good. So, head straight, arms and body did all of the work.
Who's this guy?
I know.
You've made
When
that.
did he come in and do it today?
That's a made. Come on, that's a made-up score. It's crossed
No,
up.
he's genuinely that good.
75.
Yeah.
Really, Alex?
Firstly,
I don't know about that. Anyway, Williams, thank you. Been an amazing day. I've learned a lot, and got some room for improvement, basically.